This is a Film Stories original podcast.
Ho, 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 we made this.
Welcome to the Starlight Ballroom. Hey!
Hello and welcome to Shipwrecked and Comatose, or should I say hello, ho, ho, and welcome because it's our Christmas special. We are the Red Dwarf Podcast here on the We Made This podcast network. Something about tinsel. My name's Mark and I am your host today. And with me at this time is three of the regular reprobates. Hello, Kurt.
Hello.
That wasn't very happy and Christmassy. Hello, Matt.
Bar humbug.
That wasn't very happy or Christmassy. Hello, Colin.
Hello, I got a Christmas tree behind me. I'm all Christmassy.
See,
Christmas!
That's good. 50% of us are feeling festive. Why are you two not feeling festive?
Because it's November.
I'm not a festive person. I'm only on here because it's November. I'm on in here because of the retrobates, as you call them, last year, without my hands on the reins, went absolutely fucking batshit crazy.
We were a delight
so
last
I'm here.
Christmas.
I wasn't here
I'm
last
here
Christmas, so it's not my fault.
I can't remember what we
to
did last
rein
Christmas.
him in.
We were a delight.
Swore a lot. They swore a lot.
Did we? That's not like
did.
me.
Last year was It's a Wonderful Life.
Yes.
Oh, yes, it
Yeah,
was.
so it was.
Are you talking about the year before, Kurt? Yeah.
It's the year before. Yeah. I'm thinking, bloody hell, what? Has it been 2 years?
Kurt,
Yeah,
Kurt,
that's
you
incredible.
need to build a bridge and get over it.
Wow. He is right.
Move
That
on.
is a long time ago. I've said cunt a lot of times since then as well.
You know, when me and Matt were talking about 24 before you
Of
came on.
course you were talking about
And
24.
yeah, you know those YouTube collections when I've got every damn it in 24. You could do that with this podcast.
That's one of the best things that exists on the internet.
Damn it! You could do that with Mark saying cunt.
I mean, not know if you can be asked editing it. So yeah, it's Christmas, it's festive, and you've already had our Christmassy smeg-ups, and so we've had to come up with something random as a Christmas special. I mean, It's a Wonderful Life was vaguely there, the webisodes was vaguely there, and this is vaguely there?
Well, it's the most Christmassy Red Dwarf we'll probably ever get.
You don't know. Now we're getting new Red Dwarf. They could commission a Christmas special.
It's the most inner spacey you'll ever get.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, we're looking at Dropship Project, which is a script for a Christmas special of Red Dwarf that was never made. And yeah, you can get the script online. The description will be in the show notes for this episode. So if you want to read it before you hear us chat about it, maybe pause it and download it and go and read it. And we'll see you in that amount of time. So this was written by a chap whose name I haven't written down. Fuck.
Bill Pearson.
Bill Pearson.
Bill
So this
Pearson.
was written by Bill Pearson and...
Model maker extraordinaire.
Yes, indeed, a model maker who had a go at writing a script, which is his first attempt. And what do we think? Do we think he at least gets the spirit of Red Dwarf, ignoring the big, fat, dirty elephant/alien in the room?
No,
No.
it was shit. He should stick to... He was a fantastic model maker. Sadly passed away a couple of years ago now. You know, he worked on some absolutely legendary things. Aliens, Flash Gordon, Space Precinct.
Wow. What a throwback.
Aliens versus Predator. But yeah, I think that was what he was good at. This I mean, it's fan fiction basically, and it's not particularly good fan fiction.
It did come a bit fan fiction-y, and I think the aliens thing is just something I couldn't forgive. Matt, you've actually worked on quite a lot of fan fiction. How do you feel about this?
I got nostalgic for the format of kind of script-based fan fiction. A lot of my online history is based on that. So there was kind of like a very kind of almost cozy, cuddling up to with a good book type feel to this. And it hits a lot of similar, not tropes, habits that it sometimes has.
No one fucks each other, though.
I don't think that happens in all.
That doesn't usually happen in most fan
Fan
fiction.
fiction.
You're just thinking of a
Well,
subset.
you'd say this does. It goes up the anus.
Well, that's not fucking, trust me.
Well, if you've got a micro penis, it might be.
I don't.
What's a penis?
I'm not saying that you do. I mean, you were quite aggressive in that, Mark. But
Well, I was
Stop
quite
it.
aggressive about an hour ago with that lad whose name I'm not going to say. He loved it. This has already gone to shit. Sorry, carry on talking about the important stuff that I actually asked a relevant question, Matt.
So yeah, Kurt's job at being sheriff is working very, very well.
No, it's
I'm probably not in the best of moods to do this.
Oh, I'll be glad we're not playing Snake Busters. Anyway,
we
I'm
should
not
have
glad.
played Smeg Busters, but Hob
I'd
is
have much
dead.
preferred that.
Hob is dead. We haven't seen him for 12 months, so he's got to be dead. Right?
I've heard there's an investigation going on.
I'm sure there's other people I've not seen for 12 months. I don't think they're dead.
Is he dead? Has anyone heard from him? Matt?
no, he's not responding to any of my calls. He's
Matt's the only one that's never met him, I think, isn't he?
That's
possible, yeah.
Think so.
Yes, but
Talk to him over text and stuff, I think.
Yeah.
Every time we've met him, Matt hasn't been there.
That's true.
I don't think I've actually met him either.
Have you not met him?
No.
Probably for the best.
I don't think...
yeah.
My memory's like a sieve, though, so it's possible.
Oh, perhaps he's secretly Kurt.
It could be secretly Kurt.
Ooh,
But then that would disprove my theory that Hobbs dead.
Because
possibly.
Kurt isn't dead.
No.
Because we can see and hear him.
Yeah.
Don't know.
Unless
Sometimes I
it's
feel dead.
An elaborate weekend at Bernie's sort of
I hope
thing.
he's not dead. So,
It's an AI.
Hob, if you're listening, respond to your fucking phone.
Yeah, Hob. Kurt, I want to talk to you about how this might compare to something like Into the Gloop, which you and I encountered at the Hollyhop convention online. It's the only solution we have to the cliffhanger at the end of Series 8, because they completely ignored it moving on to the Dave episodes.
They didn't completely ignore it, though, Mark. You've seen 10 now. They didn't ignore it.
Ish.
They referenced it twice in one episode.
It's true.
True.
Fine.
And Rimmer clearly did.
Well, anyway, let's compare it to Into the Gloop. Into the Gloop looked at the end of Series 6 and kind of gave us more than we got at the start of Series 7, in a similar way to how this does that for the two vague references we get in Series 10. Compare and contrast. I liked Into the Gloop more.
Well, this is the thing for me. So, on Matt's point about, you're saying, going to Matt about fan fiction, I cannot get on board with fan fiction. And the minute I started reading this, I was like, I'm going to read the kind of synopsis on the other website. So I kind of read that. But the thing with Into the Gloop was it was acted out, so it was fine. I managed to get that. Plus, as well, it's not necessarily fan fiction because it's Rob Grant, and it also gives an insight of the way that he thinks and may well think for Red Dwarf Titan. So beta canon to a degree because it's from the original writers, whereas I know this is obviously someone who worked on production, but by his own admission, he's not a writer. So
Yeah.
it feels, it's just the way I'm not sure. I'm not a massive beta canon, person. So it just felt not right. And I can't cross the boundary. Whereas Rob Grant stuff, I can get more on board with because it's one of the creators that actually wrote it that knows inside out what those audience is.
Yeah.
I think that's actually really interesting, though, that, we do have lots of different versions of Red Dwarf. We've even talked about how Titan might be an alternative universe because of the two different directions the books went in, because of how, Rob Grant probably hasn't watched any of the Dave stuff. And I just think it's really interesting that we don't care that we have all these alternative realities or these different versions. It's a fucking sitcom. But we do care that this isn't quite right.
Yeah, absolutely. Although, that said, we've been doing the magazines and there's a lot of stuff not written by Doug Naylor or Rob in that.
Well, that's the reason why, although I did listen to his magazine episode today where you referenced whether or not I listened to them, because as I say, as the police person that I am, I'm listening to see what you're doing. So,
Did we ever go at you too?
No, you did, yeah. Well, no, you were just generally saying, if Kurt listens to this, it was Colin going, is Kurt listening to this? No, I don't think. Oh, does he? Because he would really like this. Anyway, you two are crap, and X-Files is a shit show. I think Carl's.
Matt, have you listened to them?
No.
Oh, that's probably for the best.
So I still do want to plan on reading them first. Or finding a way of reading them first. Then listening
I can't
to them.
wait for the outrage. We do tend to go a bit wild on this magazine episodes.
I think we're perfectly well behaved.
It's the 3 naughtiest.
In theory, those episodes should be about 20 minutes long, about an hour and 40.
They are getting longer as well.
To be fair, this magazine's got longer. That's why.
That's true.
Well, a whole 8 pages.
Yeah.
Anyway, and then Queeg shows up.
Queek's not in this magazines.
I mean, it's code for get back to the topic for a sec. On to Kurt's point about the fan fiction thing. On the massive spreadsheet of like specials Marks wants to do, there is stuff on like all sorts of different kinds of fan fiction. So this might be venturing into that topic if we ever get to that point. See, I think the term fan fiction is, I think, there's a stigma towards the idea of fan fiction, but
Yeah.
if you've got long-running like stories or characters that have been going on and on and on, for a certain point, if there's officially recognised fan fiction, the J.J. Abrams Star Trek, for example, he describes them as fan fiction. Stephen Moffat's Doctor Who, Russell T Davies' Doctor Who, technically they're fan fiction. They grow up watching these things. They're now fans, just being given the official kind of Nintendo seal of approval on to actually kind of...
Big Finish was that even before Russell T Davis, when you talk about Doctor Who.
It's a really good point, actually. Where do you draw the line between what is fan fiction and what isn't?
For me personally, it has to be alpha canon. It has to be on. If I was watching something on Red Dwarf, it has to be on screen, in my eyes, produced and put in front of me. That is it.
So not even the books?
The books are slightly different because it's by the authors, and Red Dwarf is a weird one in that it's like it is authors doing a TV show.
Yeah.
But Star Trek Picard Season 3 was run by Terry Matalas, who's basically a fan fiction writer, at the same time, but it's on screen and I treat that as the show. So for me, I mean, it's just my personal opinion because I don't tend to get involved unless it's more, we talked about Abrams before, if it's more webisode-y kind of things is filtering in, multimedia aspect to it to a degree, then I can get on board with that. Me and Matt were talking about Enter the Matrix before we came on air.
Do you mean the Animatrix?
No, Enter the Matrix.
The game.
What's that?
game.
I see.
It came out about the same time as the Animatrix. They were doing a full multimedia thing at that point.
Yeah, so there was like it was actually linked into the films themselves. So there was a bit where Jada Pinkett Smith comes on screen, and you've just completed that game, and she's on screen with her just doing that thing. So there was a bit of multimedia thing going on there.
I mean, have you ever watched any Star Trek fan films?
No,
Nope.
I've watched a couple.
I can't do it. I just cannot do it. It just does not appeal to me at all.
I think there's some fun that can be had when you're reading fan fiction. So, like, I mean, okay, you get the kind of tropey stuff of like either the Mary Sues of like the self-insert characters, or like writers kind of having a broad idea of what the character is, but not really knowing the internal third dimension of a character, which I think, but as much even though he's works on the show, is one of the key things I'm going to bring up with his script. But then you do have like instances where you've got really kind of good storytelling or people having interesting ideas spinning off of things. I mean, with the fan fiction aspect I was part of was more like kind of script writing or kind of episodic fiction. So people would be creating full episode seasons of spin-offs and stuff. So like a lot of the time it was either Buffy based, because that was the thing I was reading growing up. So like I've written a 10 episode kind of transcript version of a spin-off set in the Watchers Council in like 2000, and thankfully it's off the internet. I've tried to find it actually. It's not on there.
Oh,
For example.
Oh.
But yeah.
Get Carl on it. Carl will find it.
that's true.
and also but then I was also for about 3.5 years I was involved in like a British supernatural teenage drama about these witches in a British school, and it lasted 4 seasons. But yeah, on the actual fanfiction stuff, there was like a load of good, interesting things happening. Mine and Tony's friend, Tony being the head of We Made This, Lee, he created a whole online community called Monster Zero Productions, named after the Godzilla character. That was based originally off a virtual season 8 of Buffy. And then it spun off onto this online, like, multiple kind of shared universe of shows based on faith, and they're really, really good. There was other things that were not affiliated. There was a great one called Rogue, which was focused on Wesley Wyndham-Pryce, just basically being his own kind of demon hunter type thing, which lasted like 4 seasons. Someone did one based on Connor. There's all kind of interesting kind of ideas that were spun, but they were kind of written in a episodic way of like virtual show running. So it's like a bunch of people who kind of wanted to work in TV but perhaps wouldn't, so they had like this online community that did that. I think a couple of people went on to do work in TV and all that kind of stuff. So I know a few people that went on to go into the production side and from that kind of community and stuff. So it can be a kind of breeding ground or training ground.
Yeah, I'm not denying it's a worthwhile thing. I'm just saying personally for me that it's not that way, but I would absolutely, definitely, I know people in the X-Files world that do fan fiction and apparently they're really, really good, and there's definitely warranted reasons why you would do it. It's just for me personally, I think because I tend to be, and I do this in my life no matter what I do anyway, and it's kind of reason why I don't do many of the specials, if I'm being honest with Mark and Colin this way, is because I tend to like so many things that I just like, I always only take the layer cake off it, and I'd rather just go and dive into different worlds and then go off and do something else because I don't have time to go into one massive universe.
Would you say you were a geek polymath?
I would say I was probably a little bit more of a geek polymath, yes.
Nah.
And it's only recently, like of Una McCormick's books that for Star Trek Picard, that I've even started to read any Star Trek novels, really, because that was when Picard was starting, and I felt that I could do that because even though it's beta canon, the thing with that is that it was almost starting afresh and you could start a new story. And I think the big issue I have with things like MCU and everything like that is there's too much. Yeah. And it's like, I can't even get into it. It's just not, it's too, not gatekeeper, that's the wrong word. It's just too much of a mammoth task. I'd rather go and, actually go and watch another TV show and just get involved in that. So that's just the way I come out, but it's definitely worthwhile doing the fan fiction side of things.
That's the thing. If everything is considered canon like that, then it means that it's a full-time job to catch up with stuff. There's been Marvel movies recently that I've hesitated about watching because I've missed some of the series and stuff like that. I haven't got time to watch an entire series, so I don't know if I'm going to get as much out of watching the movie yet and stuff like that. So, Star Wars, you've got all of the novels and stuff like that and the extended universe and stuff like that I've never really got into, apart from Splinter of the Mind's Eye, which is ace. The first outside of the movies Star Wars novel.
They were actually classed as officially canon until very recently, wasn't it?
Yeah, there was like a reset.
When Disney bought it.
Yeah.
I think it was about then, yeah. But Splinter of the Mind's Eye was actually written as a sequel to the first Star Wars film before Empire Strikes Back was written. And it actually, there are bits in it that get very much retconned.
And I think that's the same. That's another reason as well, because X-Files did a season 10 comic, and then they were like, "Oh, this is canon now." Chris Carter proved it was season 10 until it wasn't.
Yeah.
Until season 10 came out.
Yeah.
And it's like that's the fear a lot of the times as well. It's like if I'm not going to get into fan fiction, I'm not going to get into like reading scripts and stuff. And for then all of a sudden, I think that's another fear of mine, actually, just going, well, this is written by somebody else. It's easily going to be overwritten, and I don't want to get my worlds mixed up, and I want to be in prime timeline.
That's very similar to, I think, what's happening with the Buffy franchise, where so you've got Slayers that's just come out.
Slayers, yeah.
Slayers was great.
Me and Mark had a kind of debrief via Facebook Messenger about it. Slayers, generally 95% of it really quite liked. There's a couple of niggles that I've got. The big one that I've got is that I've really gotten into what was supposed to be officially recognised as the canon of the Dark Horse comics. So season 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And there's some absolutely amazing stuff in those comics. But then they've been very careful on the language used, that no one's ever used the word canon when talking about it. So people have either ignored the comics, but the fact that the fact, and I love the fact that this happened, where that basically Spike travels in an underground submarine with like human-sized crickets or insects. That's true. It is true. Yeah. But then you've got like stuff that happens with the character of Angel and Faith, and there's a whole section called Angel and Faith. But it was also recognised by He Shall Not Be Named as officially being canon.
Voldemort.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Voldemort.
Bono.
Bonomort is
Wow.
but and then like Slayer's come out, and I think because it's probably the most highest profile thing that's closest and has got all these things in, there's going to be people that are listening to it, and to them that will be the canon of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. They've been very careful about how they described whether it's canon for them. They've not even mentioned the comics, and that's slightly tweaking my brain a bit.
And I think this is the thing about fans, isn't it? You almost create your own canon. And going back to this script, a little bit of a detail.
It's talking Red Dwarf.
Yeah.
Okay.
Going back to this script, the obvious thing is that there is immediately aliens, and Kat is reading a copy of Alien Wives. And I think for me, that is where the problem lies. As interesting as it is to have the idea of a Christmas special, you can't break one of the fundamental rules about Red Dwarf.
That was, to be fair, I mean, I know you asked the question, and that instantly, I mean, already having my aversion to like scripts and stuff like that anyway, I'm not a massive script reader either, even in canon stuff. I saw Aliens, I was like, well, that screwed that up then.
Yeah.
And I was hoping towards the end it would be like, you know, there'll be a twist. It isn't Aliens. But when you've got magazines, you've got this, and the Red Dwarf fandom page on this basically says it is possible that Demonstros are an advanced species of Gelf. No, that's pushing it. They're trying to like explain what he tried to do, and it's like, just if it was a Gelf, then fair enough, or even if it was his own like rogue nanobot technology from Crichton, because it had it. I know it's involved in the script. Have it do something like that, but not aliens. It's like, as you say, the fundamental rule of Red Dwarf is that there's no aliens. That's the whole point. And it instantly switched me off. It was like, I'm not even bothered about reading this.
It didn't have to be aliens. It could have been Gelfs. It could have been written that it was Gelfs.
Yeah.
Do you reckon he just really wanted to make some models of aliens?
Possibly.
And he was hoping that it'd get made so he could make models. I mean, but yeah, Gelfs are essentially aliens, even though they're man-made. They serve the purpose that aliens would.
Yeah.
So it's an arbitrary thing that there are no aliens, but it's a fundamentally arbitrary thing.
Yes.
It's really, really important.
It's blatant. Yeah.
Rimmer would be fucking insufferable if there were aliens.
That's the thing. They have aliens in it, but Rimmer doesn't really go as Rimmery as I would expect him to. There are some elements of this where I'm like, no. But there are some elements of this that I actually really like. There were some moments where the cat was very catty. I liked that. And he's clearly got a good working knowledge of stuff that's happened in the past, like using the time wand as a plot point. And, you know, he seems to have the dynamic of some of the characters right.
Yeah.
Sort of,
sometimes,
but not really.
The first sort of scene of it, there's the joke about the Spice Girls going solo, which, what year was this released?
It was written after Series 8, not long after Series 8, so 1999, 2000, around then.
Yeah, so it's such a contemporary reference at the time.
Yes.
That it really seems... I mean, there are pop culture references in Red Dwarf. There are loads of them.
The Peter Beardsley was shot one. He always jumps out my head.
Most of the time, they're fairly sort of timeless.
Apart from Peter Beardsley.
And
I'd also argue Helen Shapiro is a bit dated now as well.
So a lot of the references are sort of 70s references, aren't they?
Yeah.
And I think that fits with the canon. And having a 90s reference, it just seemed really jarring.
And I don't feel like they were doing that anymore in Series 7 and 8, really.
Not so much, no.
You wonder if those gags were Rob Grant's rather than Doug Naylor's.
Yeah.
I'm taking a look through script quite quickly. I made a note that I thought that the Rimmer in this was a lot more like Series 1 and 2 Rimmer than any of the subsequent Rimmers, including the non-hologrammatical Rimmer.
Right.
What did we think about the Rimmer, the portrayal of Rimmer in this? Or I'll cut that.
No, keep it in. Keep it in. We're shocked with stunned silence. I was actually thinking, what, a normal remote? When was there a normal remote? So bad. I've forgotten it already.
I mean, think about it. If the start of it tries to do a lot of kind of very exposition-y, there's a lot of kind of exposition at the start.
Yes.
Like kind of repeated stuff, which from a kind of being a pragmatic view, if you've got this like kind of Christmas special, if this was like eventually taken down, doing a few more drafts onto a full-blown recorded televised special, then you're going to have, if it's going to be at a certain time, then you're probably going to potentially have people watching it who have never watched it before because of with families. So
Yeah.
because you're going to have like certain insufferable members of families go, now we want to watch Red Dwarf. We're going to watch it. You're going to have audience members that potentially will not have any clue what's going on. So you're going to have to try and find some way of incorporating that exposition into the dialogue. And I think trope number 2 that jumps out is that this, I think, does a slightly clumsy way of doing it. Yeah, so like, even like, so for example, like, I mean, first of all, Kachansky appears in dialogue without even being referenced in the script whatsoever.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she's not even introduced in the script yet. But then you got Lister going like, could be different with blah blah blah. Goes, oh, we came back for the mirror anniversary, no times off, stop being terrorised by dinosaur and corrosive microorganism. Did we get any thanks? No. Hollister sentenced 5 further 6 years in jail. It's just like repeating like random
Stuff that happened.
as you know, Bob. Or like, man, isn't it weird that we've been here 10 years and Colonel Clink is still in charge? That kind of almost lazy dialogue.
And I think that's actually really important. We are being quite critical about what is essentially a first draft. This wasn't something he had done a lot of work on. This was the original draft. He hadn't put huge amounts of redrafts in or anything like that. And some of the stuff that we talk about would have probably been done.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Lister's slightly meaner than I think in places in Hiss as well. Like he goes, oh, not content with killing off Red Dwarf's crew already, you're going for the sequel.
Yeah.
Rimmer's Revenge, Return of the Ill-Fitting Drive Plate.
It's a lot more callous than the character normally would be, isn't
Yeah. The only time he's ever done something like that is when he's talking to Crichton, where he's like, you killed half the crew. I don't think he's ever kind of used that for Rimmer. He usually attacks his kind of annoyances rather than try and remind him of his biggest mistake.
And I think the concept isn't particularly original. They've done a lot of stuff with them being tiny. You know, Starbug went up a rat's arse and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, and they've done Rimmer. They've been into Rimmer's mind when they went on Rimmerworld.
Rimmerworld,
like that. So, whilst it feels kind of dwarfy, it also feels kind of treading old ground. They might as well put Dwayne Dibley in.
Yeah. I mean, it reminded me, I mean, it was obviously better written, but it reminded me of the school assembly that I did with my mates, where we did a Red Dwarf little play thingy in the school assembly. It was, let's play at being the characters, let's reference things that have already happened.
I don't think it's that bad, Colin.
You weren't there. It was awesome.
I can't believe that we got more than one host that did a kind of Red Dwarf related play in school.
I didn't.
No, I did. I think I've talked about this before. When I played
yeah.
it was Blue Midget, and I played Alfred Slimmer.
Wow. Wow.
In German, but it was all in German as well.
Is there footage of this?
It was recorded, but the videotape is long gone.
It is sad. Alas.
Carl will be able to find it.
Carl might find it.
No, if Carl would be able to find it, I would love to see that again, but not, because it's pretty much me going cut. 11-year-old me going, stop it.
I have made a note in my script of just how first drafty this is. his autocorrect has corrected lager to larger. And
Experimental's in there as well, isn't there? Experimental spelt wrong. I mean, I can't speak because you've seen my writing.
but it really is a first draft, to the point where he hasn't even gently corrected it before he released it. And yeah, I think it does genuinely show potential. I think I would like a Christmas special of Red Dwarf, but this doesn't feel quite right or Christmassy enough.
I was going to say, it didn't really seem very Christmassy at all.
No.
We've got Crichton as a star outside of the ship, haven't you? And they're going to do a panto or something, aren't they?
That's the only bit, but it just seems really shoehorned in.
It feels Star Trek, that. It doesn't feel Red Dwarf. It feels more something that Star Trek would do. You know, when they have the plays in the holodecks or the actual playrooms that they have and things.
I've just suddenly had an idea of what you possibly could do for an actual Christmas special.
Write the script.
Send it to Doug or Rob.
Let them fight over it.
I mean, if you go back, because this is like early kind of mythology, where you've got the fact that Lister is the Jesus analog for the cat people. You've got basically you just got the birth. You got the cat version of the birth of Cloister that you could do.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. You could do like a nativity, but it's Cloister.
Yeah.
Fuck, that would be quite fun.
Smegativity.
Smegmas.
Smegativity?
Smegivity.
Smegivity.
Yeah.
Good.
Gold, Frankenstein, and fur.
I thought it was Gold, Frankenstein and Gurr.
That's bottom.
No,
dear.
it's fur. It's Frankenstein. I was going to use it to scare the shit out of Richie later.
Looking through the script, there's some knob gags, and there's a joke that I think is too crude, where they make a pussy gag about the cat, which is something that's never happened in Red Dwarf. And then there's flying sanitary towels. I don't think this could be made now.
Yeah, I was like, what on earth is that about?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I am not on this podcast generally known as the woke police, but I was like, what the fuck are they doing there?
Yeah.
What, it wasn't anything to do with that. It was more me going, why would that even enter your mind? What the hell are you talking about? I don't know. It needed to be a cleaning gag, didn't it? It needed to be something like, you know, brushes coming after them or a vacuum coming after them or something like that, but not sanitary pads. Just...
Perhaps he was going for sanitation and then just got lost.
Or the autocorrect hitting. I also think that the cat seems slightly more intelligent in places than he'll either use terminology or explanations that are kind of beyond his usual understanding.
Yeah.
And also, it does feel he's back to, again, Series 1, Series 2 level of cat being very, very catty and being very, very ignorant. And then suddenly he's not ignorant. And it's like, it definitely needs a few more drafts, this, I think. But, do you know, there was some classic dwarf humour in there. Stuff about male eunuchs, which they always seem to like. And there's references to cat's fashion, and it does get some stuff right.
I did quite like the bit at the start where it's got the sort of Blue Peter style Advent crown with the hairy, like, furry ball type things hanging off each corner, but there's one missing. And then it turns out they're the cat's fur balls. That was nicely disgusting in a sort of Space Mumps kind of way.
Yeah. And a lot less crude than flying sanitary towels.
Yeah.
I really quite liked and giggled quite a lot longer than I thought I probably should have done at the very much remember going, the pop-up book of probe ships recommended reading for 5 to 9, and Cat goes, but it's 10:34 now. Which I think is actually, to be fair, is actually a very good cat gag, which I could see working on screen.
That might have been the best joke in it, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did genuinely laugh at that. And it's fun. I'm glad it exists. I'm glad we've done it. But I don't feel like I've got that much to say about it other than fun needs many redrafts. What does anyone else have anything particularly insightful that they want to share?
I like the idea of having a 5-year-old or 10-year-old Hollister. I think that would be really interesting to mine. I really do. I think that would be really interesting. I that was something I came away with going, actually, that's a really clever idea. And I quite like the idea. Maybe not necessarily that young, but like youth somebody, you know, and that is a good way to bring a character back, you know, as well, you know, to youth somebody that way. But yeah, that came across quite nice for me.
Be like Baby Groot.
Yeah.
Smeg, you used me.
Yeah, and I suppose it has got form because of that. I mean, and they still look like the Turkish entry into the Eurovision Song Contest.
Have we mentioned Inner Space yet? I know Kurt did earlier, but I can't remember if that was before we were recording or not.
I've not seen Inner Space, so I avoided the topic, but no, we haven't.
Well, it's Inner Space, and it's Fantastic Voyage as well, isn't it?
I've not seen that either.
So Fantastic Voyage was the original, and then Inner Space was basically a rip-off of that, but it's the version that used to be on the telly pretty much every few weeks when I was a kid, I think. I saw it so many times in the late 80s and 90s. But yeah, you know, it was either that or the Burbs every other week, which is great.
I've seen the Burbs.
Yeah.
So what happened in Inner Space?
There's basically this guy gets in this sort of spaceship thing, gets shrunk down and injected into a woman. I can't remember why, but he's sort of driving his spaceship all round inside, like a vein.
My God, Robert Picardo's in it. They played the Doctor, the hologram Doctor from Voyager's in it. I need to go and watch that back now.
He's not in the female because he's in a guy. But there's a bit where he kisses the guy he's in, kisses his love interest, and then the ship goes into her.
Right, because there's a bit at some point where there's a baby.
Yeah,
that's the bit I remember.
Yeah, but because there's a bit I don't remember much about it. I just remember there's a bit where he kind of shoots something into the other side of the eye and he starts feeling this pain, but it's so he puts a camera so he can see what the guy's doing, and he does something to the cochlea in the ear.
He's got some hidden technology that he takes into the body with him, basically.
So that was a little look at a weird little thingy that I think is probably more specially than some of our specials, but a lot's been going on this year when it comes to Red Dwarf. I thought before we disappeared and wished everyone a Merry Christmas, the last time we talked about...
Because this has been a ball of laughs.
Yeah. We started all right, and then we moaned a lot. But when we talked about Titan, we speculated about what it would be and got it wrong. Titan's going to be a mini-series of actual live-action teleshizzle. What are our thoughts on that? I mean, were you surprised by that?
No, actually. I thought that would be the aim. I think if he'd have gone with, you know, an audio thing or something like that, it would have seemed a bit sort of lesser. And as it's Rob Grant, I think he's got to be on a level with Doug. He's got a lot of catching up to do because Doug's had the series for 20-something years without him now. So I think Rob's going to want to do something pretty spectacular. I'm really looking forward to it. It has the potential to be horrible. But it also has the potential to be brilliant. So I'm hoping it's that one.
I genuinely think that it could be terrible. And if it is terrible, it will break my heart. I think it would be less of a blow if it was an audio or a comic or anything other than live action telly.
Right.
If it was terrible, because you could just go, like we were talking about before, canon this, canon that. But like Kurt said, when it's on telly, there's a certain expectation of it being, well, good.
Not necessarily. There's some shite telly.
And if you want it, Carl can find it. What are your thoughts, Matt?
I don't know. The thought of a prequel, I wish it was something else. I'm surprised it's taken this far long to get like dwarf-related stuff, but I don't know. I'm always very, very sceptical when it comes to kind of prequels, because they're either going to be unnecessarily trying to kind of retrofit canon, or in the guise of kind of like shout-outs. Like, for example, like there'll be some kind of either like they'll walk past the Nova 1 or something stupid like that, or like they'll see like the Android 400 series being created or something stupid, which is like just there for the sake of it, rather than being like an actual proper story. And the idea of like you've got to have two kind of younger actors that will be playing the younger versions of characters. I can't see how they'll be able to play without feeling like they're kind of doing a very poor imitation of Chris Barry and Craig Charles, because I think it is very, very, very easy, and I speak from experience, to go very over the top when trying to play Rimmer, because you'll capitalise on the facial expressions, the over the top kind of salutes, and perhaps trying to enunciate like Chris Barry does. I think it's very, very easy to kind of go into that cartoony aspect of it and perhaps lose the humanity and the kind of tragic element of the character that Chris Barry can balance quite well. And that's what I think that is the thing that's scaring me most, or that at least I'm kind of very anxious about.
I think we all want it to be good. I think we're all a little bit trepidatious, though.
Do we know anything more than it's about a young Lister and young Rimmer?
Yeah, it's obviously before the nuclear explosion. It's set in a particular time frame on Titan where Rimmer and Lister go on to the Titan, the moon
So
Titan.
that's quite a short period of time then.
Yeah, and it's based on that culture and that the people that are on that planet or that moon, basically. That's what the premise is.
If it follows the kind of thing that happened in the start of the book, that section is really, really good. There is a lot of potential there.
I think if it goes perhaps the route of, I don't know, like Rock or Chips or even Young Hyacinth.
I haven't seen either of those.
I didn't even know there was a Young Hyacinth.
Young Hyacinth, as in Hyacinth Bouquet?
Yeah, that was actually really good. Yeah, there's a one-off half-an-hour mini pilot called Young Hyacinth, which is actually really, really good. No, Rock and Chips, sorry. Rock and Chips, I think, was a lot better than I expected it to be.
That was an Only Fools and Horses prequel, wasn't it?
Yeah, so like you had James Buckley from The Inbetweeners playing an 18-year-old Dale Trotter.
Right.
And it was basically following on the revelations of the last Christmas trilogy about Rodney's parents and Rodney's father. And like Nicholas Lyndhurst plays Freddie the Frog when he meets what's her name? Dale's mum, Dale and Rodney's mum. So it's basically about the events that leads to Rodney's conception, more or less.
Yeah.
So there's a comedy drama. So it's like a single camera kind of like, there's about 3 90-minute episodes that they did every couple of years, and it was a lot better than I think it had any right to be. It's better than the bloody green grass or whatever that shit was, which is the Boise spin-off.
Right, yeah. Can't be asked with any of that.
So I think there probably might be, if they go that route, I think perhaps it might be slightly more interesting. If they go for a comedy drama rather than just trying to do a sitcom, like a on-stage sitcom, I'd probably be more interested in that, because then they've got an intent with it. Perhaps slightly different, but Young Sheldon in comparison to The Big Bang Theory, it's a different type of comedy, but it's the type of comedy that like it's the single camera one, so it's a lot less heightened. It's not like the beats are more natural. They're not waiting for the audience to go on and stuff. I'd be more interested if it was that rather than a straight sitcom.
But Rob Grant's more the
yeah, I was about to say that.
Okay.
But then again, though, wouldn't it be a very interesting turn of events if Rob Grant did that?
Yeah, and you got to remember he's with the guy that does 2.4 Children as well.
Right.
So he's not on his own. He's not on his own doing it. So whereas Doug's done it on his own.
Have your thoughts changed since we found out it was going to be a teleseries, Kurt?
I wouldn't necessarily say change. I mean, I'm open to anything that comes, but at the same time, I'm a little bit with Matt, because looking at how Chris Pine does a great job as Kirk. I'm not a massive TOS fan, if I'm being honest. Like, I enjoy the TOS movies more than the original show. I'm much more Next Generation fan. But Spock and Kirk, he didn't really play it in a way that there was like a complete rip-off of Shatner. But I think that the Chris Barry thing's kind of a bit the same. It's kind of like are they going to be caricatures of people? Like Paul Wesley's doing Kirk in Strange New Worlds now, and I do not like it at all. So I've got two different Kirks there.
You've got Stefan Salvatore from the Vampire Diaries playing Kirk, and it's blowing my mind. Then again, though, you do have Siler playing Spock on Hook and Talk.
Well, yeah, it's true. But yeah, it's just that worries me a little bit. I think if it is going to be a small event series, then I think I'll be more happy. I think the Rock and Chips thing is probably not a bad thought, actually. And my biggest thing is, as I say, that because it lead on, because he's saying it's one universe to the left as well, which opens up the future, which is like Star Trek 2009, effectively. He's just basically saying, like, have your chips and eat it kind of thing. But at the same time, it's like, but I just hope, I mean, it might be good that Rob Grant's not, if we think, we don't know, but if we say he hasn't seen the rest of Red Dwarf, that might not be a bad thing. If he does decide to do things further on where, we do have a different timeline that works, but I need to know more, I think. And I think my biggest worry is more the portrayal of the characters. Yeah. And would I have preferred something that maybe just in the universe of Red Dwarf rather than actually just going a young Rimmer or Lister? And that's my worry.
I mean, parallel universes obviously have been canon in Red Dwarf since 1989. So if it is just different, it's just a parallel universe version of it. That fits.
Yeah. True.
Yeah.
True.
If it is a parallel universe and hasn't changed anything and it is one to the left, like he's saying, then yes, there's an element of it's just a different Lister, it's a different Rimmer.
I think we're all cautiously optimistic, but a little bit scared it's going to be poo. And I think we're probably not very dissimilar to the vast majority of Red Dwarf fans because this is a big deal.
Yeah.
I am looking forward to hearing Rob Grant's humour again, though. I am and I'm not, because I've got this feeling that he's may not be completely au fait with the times. That there is an element of him that I'm thinking, is his humour really right for now? I know Doug's obviously has some issues, but generally on the whole, it's not been too bad.
Yeah.
Is Rob going to be that? I don't know.
Surely he's going to have a sensitivity consultant.
Oh, yeah, I would expect so.
Here's a question. Can you imagine a Red Dwarf where Mark is a sensitivity consultant?
Oh, my God.
I'd be great at that.
Pissing off all the anti-woke people that keep moaning.
Good.
While calling them cunts is a complete dichotomy, Mark. It's just like...
They're absolutely cunts.
I don't remember Red Dwarf using the C-bomb so liberally.
When Mark has a go at people for our expletive language, yet then has a go at something else, it's quite interesting.
Well,
there's no middle ground.
No.
There's no middle ground. It's either one thing or the other.
I would just like
one
at
extreme
one
or the
point in the script for someone to say, "Smeg off, you cunt." That'd be great.
I'd enjoy that too.
And it'd be Crichton that says it.
Need for that. No need for that language.
Definitely Crichton.
Boys, come on.
That'd be amazing.
I just upgraded my dictionary, sir. or Crichton, or the episode where Crichton basically gets the Wi-Fi signal starts picking up and he starts updating his firmware and somehow his dictionary gets cross-loaded with Urban Dictionary.
Urban Dictionary.
That's a very good idea. If only we knew someone who could write scripts.
He isn't ill when he starts to try and do it and has about...
We did think about actually reading this out as a group. I'm glad we didn't. I'd have been a fucking Kachansky, wouldn't I?
Yeah.
Who would you have wanted to play if we were going to do a script read?
Bagsy Lester.
Rimmer.
I'll still go Crichton then, won't I?
And that gives Carl the cat and looks like I'm Holly and Kachansky.
As if you wouldn't want to be the cat.
I'll give him 2 parts.
I want to be the cat, but yeah. Who would we have who would we have for Holly? Who'd be a good Holly?
If he wasn't missing, presumed dead, Hob.
Hobby.
Fucking hell. Right, well, this was a shambles. Has anyone else got anything else they want to talk about before we say bye-bye, Merry Christmas?
I do. All right, I don't know if anyone's seen a thing about sci-fi music theme tunes at all. Has anyone?
No.
Okay, so You know the PRS,
Yeah.
the Public Music Service kind of thing. They put out from the 1st of January 2023 to the 14th of November 2023,
Yep.
so this year, they put out the top 20 sci-fi theme tunes chart.
Ooh.
Okay, Red Dwarf does feature in
Nice.
it. Let's go through this. There's 20 of them. Let's see how many theme tunes you can get on where they are positioned.
Doctor Who's number 1.
Doctor Who is number 1.
I did it.
I would
Correct.
imagine Star Trek. Is it Next Generation, the one that's...
Yes.
I reckon
Yes.
that's going to be pretty high.
No.
No, okay.
Star Trek's in there, and they are breaking them up. There's 2 Star Treks in there.
Next Gen isn't in there.
Enterprise number 2.
Next Gen is not in. No.
Oh, that's fuck that list then.
Enterprise is a great theme.
You got
Okay.
faith of the heart.
Right. Star Trek, the original series theme tune, will get played at a lot of funerals. So that's going to boost it up fairly high. Original series theme tune's going to be pretty high, I reckon.
Number 3,
Yep.
Star Trek.
X-Files. I reckon number
X-Files,
2.
not in there.
Whoa.
X-Files is not
Well,
in there. There are
so
some interesting
wrong.
ones.
Well, Kurt,
There are some
we're
interesting
recording a podcast next week where it's featured 3 fucking times. So,
ones. Okay, next.
Quantum Leap.
Quantum Leap is not in
Fuck
there.
that list then.
Right.
Again.
That's what I
I'm
was
going
gonna
to say
isn't
one
it?
that I want to be in there that I think is a bit of a deep cut.
is it the X-Men?
That as well. But I was going to say the tripods. That is a fucking superb theme.
Nope.
War of the Worlds.
That
Nope.
doesn't count.
Is the X-Men in there?
No.
It should
What?
be. It's a banger.
It's an absolute bang. This list is dog shit.
Blake 7.
We haven't, obviously, where do you think Red Dwarf is? 'Cause
Fifth.
Red Dwarf is in there.
19th.
5th, 19th, Colin?
I'm going to go with 10th.
10th. Okay. Stay tuned, and we'll find out later.
No.
Okay. So, all right, we're given Star Trek. So what's the other Star Trek show that could be in
DS9.
there, do you think? DS9 is in there. DS9 is 7th.
So DS9 and the original series. Is it just those two?
Yes.
I'm annoyed that tripods isn't in there.
Tripods is not in there.
Dead good, that.
But you're the only person that's watched it since 1988.
I am going to splice the tripods theme in. I don't think we'll get a copyright strike for that.
How liberal is the term sci-fi? Is it
There's a couple that I'm like, oh,
Buffy the
okay.
Vampire Slayer?
But no.
Because sometimes they'll do sci-fi stuff and it's like SFX saying, oh, the top 20 sci-fi themes, and you've got like Twin Peaks and is Twin Peaks on there?
No.
Angel. Angel's a fucking wonderful theme tune.
If
No.
Buffy's not on there, Angel won't be on there.
Yeah, but Angel's theme is better than Buffy's.
Yes, but it's this is the Performer Rights Society, so they've collected
Yes.
royalties for it being played in public places,
Oh.
Yes.
which is why I said funerals is going to be a lot of it.
Yes.
Z Cars.
No.
That's not
See,
sci-fi.
you mentioned X-Files before. What an ether can you have in X-Files? That kind
The
of
Lone
realm. What can you have in
Gunmen.
there? No.
Millennium.
No.
But are you sure? Because they might have just mixed up with that Robbie Williams song.
Space Above and Beyond.
No. Just it doesn't have to be from 1013 Productions. X-Files
Thunderbirds.
was kind of a... No.
Stingray.
No.
DuckTales.
Joe 90.
No. You're getting closer with Joe 90.
Captain
though. Joe
Scarlet.
90, there's a... No.
Oh, come on.
We've named all of the Jerry Anderson stuff now.
Matt, you mentioned somebody before that's in a TV show that's in the film Star Trek 2009.
What? What?
Star Trek 2009, you mentioned a character in Star Trek 2009 and you
Heroes.
referenced the TV show. Heroes
Is this
in
all
there.
TV themes or a movies
TV
counted?
themes.
TV thing.
Movies aren't
Right,
counted.
okay. I was going to say,
TV
because
films.
2001 Space Odyssey would be counted for the fact that it's also Zarathustra.
Is this just the themes, or if it's
Themes.
if it's a commercial song being used as the theme, it doesn't count?
I don't think so, no.
Basically, "Here With Me" by Dido won't count. No.
No.
Oh, what about the one from Charms that was a much better version of
How soon's now?
Yeah, How Soon Is Now, because it didn't have a horrible racist as the singer.
No.
Charms was great.
Oh, Futurama.
Right, you're in kind of animation world now, so you're getting closer to one, potentially. Which is a bit of a push,
Star
I
Trek
think,
Lower
personally.
Decks,
But
but you said all the Star
No.
Trek ones.
Star Wars Rebels, Star Wars Resistance.
Star Wars Rebels is in there. Star Wars Rebels is in there.
All the Star Wars ones.
16. That was 16.
To be fair, Rebels is a great theme.
Knight Rider.
Knight Rider's not in
Should
there.
be.
But you finish on Star. There's no more Star Wars.
The A-Team?
There is other space-based. The A-Team, no.
Farscape?
That's not really sci-fi. Farscape, no.
Stargate? Jinx?
Stargate, not
Stargate
Stargate.
Atlantis?
Stargate Atlantis is number 4.
Wow.
Stargate Deep Space Nine. Wait, what?
Stargate. Actually, Atlantis is technically Stargate's Deep Space Nine when you think about it. It is.
The theme tune to the Star Wars Droids cartoon. That was ace. Trouble again.
No, there's no more Star
Not
Wars.
even Ewoks. We are the
There's a TV show that is on the We Made This Podcast network.
Millennium.
We've said
No.
Doctor Who, haven't we?
We said Doctor Who, yeah. Doctor Who was number
Doctor
1.
Who was number 1. Babylon 5.
Babylon 4.
No,
Babylon 3.
no,
Babylon 2.
no,
Babylon 1.
no.
Babylon
I've been on a
Liftoff.
podcast, which I've not watched Babylon 5.
Yeah,
or any
Yellow
version
Jacket's
of.
Deep Space Nine.
So, no.
This is
Come on.
this is really entertaining.
There's a sci-fi show. There's a sci-fi show on the network that actually are up to about season 4 on the network of the
Fringe.
show that we're going to talk about. Fringe.
I didn't know that was sci-fi.
That was number 10.
To be fair, Fringe is a great theme.
Computer game.
Oh, The Last of Us.
Last of Us. Thank you. Number 9.
Great soundtrack
There's
as well.
a fantastic 20-year-old show that was a remake.
Battlestar Galactica.
Battlestar Galactica. Number 11.
This is a really shit bingo.
I think we might need to get Hob back after this bollocks.
A Lost rip-off.
Lost.
No. Lost can't be a rip-off of itself.
And it
Flash
didn't have a
forward.
fucking theme either. Dog shit.
No,
The
not
Event.
Flash Forward. No, you're getting closer, though.
Oh, fucking hell, what else was there? Prison Break.
It got
Prison
saved
Break.
by Netflix.
Got saved by...
Got saved by Netflix.
Lucifer.
Shit.
I've not heard of a show called Shit.
It's quite good.
Manifest. That's
Manifest. Yeah.
Never heard of it.
The one below that was 17. The one below it is he's a cunt now.
Morrissey.
No. and it's based very much after the event of 2001, after September 11th, 2001. And it stars a lost Illuminati.
Flash forward.
No.
Firefly.
No.
Is Firefly on there?
The main character is not a nice person anymore.
I mean, that could be anyone. Jim will fix it.
I don't think that was sci-fi. Good theme tune, though.
He played Jesus Christ.
Oh, Person of Interest.
Person of
Right,
interest.
haven't seen it.
18.
Garth Marenghi.
Jim Caviezel. Oh, my, I loved Person of Interest. That's such an amazing,
Oh, for
amazing
fuck's
show.
sake. Why have none of us said Stranger Things?
It's not on there, though.
Really?
Surprisingly enough, yeah. But you'd think, again, going back to PRS, it wouldn't be the run up the hill, would it?
Yeah, but Stranger Things, you've got the actual theme at the start. But I suppose there wouldn't be much opportunity to... A lot... Yeah.
I mean, there's one on here I'm not even sure I know as well, which is strange. There's still an animation on there. The link's actually...
Ulysses
Lower Decks, thinking
91.
about it.
That was a banger of a theme tune. Ulysses.
31.
What?
31.
No one remember the number.
What?
If they remember
I
the
do.
Ulysses, is that one?
Final Space.
No.
Jason the Wheeled Warriors. That
No.
was fucking badass.
What about Jamie and the Magic Torch? That had another banging theme tune. That's sci-fi. He had a magic fucking torch that did shit.
Captain Z.
Sci-fi shit.
Captain Z Dream Patrol.
Well, all right then. I'm going to give you another one. You mentioned Doctor Who before.
Torchwood.
Torchwood. Yeah.
Not Sarah Jane Adventures or Class, because both of their themes were pants. And also Class was pants.
Superman.
Oh, Smallville.
Smallville.
But then again though, that's an actual release song. It's because it's "Save Me" by Remy Zero.
Yeah.
Oh, Remy Zero. I'm actually recording an episode of Always Hold On to
You still haven't got the one I talked about. X-Files. X-Files could have had a massive. It was influenced severely by it.
Twilight Zone.
Twilight Zone. Yes.
Outer Limits.
Outer Limits isn't on there. Do. Okay, so you've now down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
5 left.
Fucking hell.
5 left.
Ulysses.
Fuck off.
Ulysses.
Pugwall Summer.
Desmond from Lost is in this one.
Flash forward.
No.
Again.
Desmond's. That's not sci-fi.
Fuck, bye. Desmond from Lost is in this one.
WWE Monday Night Raw, I'm just naming telly shows now.
The 6 o'clock news.
Matt is really trying on this. He's really
I
trying.
wish
What else
that
he's
was
been
science
in?
fiction.
It's,
Did we get the animated one?
No.
Doctor Who,
No.
the animated series. Oh, I give up.
We should have done this at the start of the episode. People have turned off when we were being all miserable.
Come on.
I don't know any sci-fi.
Yeah. Star Trek Lower Decks.
I said that.
He said that.
I absolutely said that.
No. Star Trek Lower Decks was his latest project.
Oh, The
he had
Boys.
another project.
Oh,
No.
he's Rick and Morty sci-fi.
Correct.
I've never watched it. Looks shit.
Well, you got it anyway. Desmond from Lost is in this TV show.
Which one was Desmond from Lost?
Is it Desmond Decker?
Seen in Another Life, brother.
CW.
Might be the
Arrow.
network.
The 100.
No. The 100.
Never seen it.
Okay.
Neither have I.
Then the other ones I don't even know. Right. Better Off Ted?
Never heard of it.
I've heard of it. I've
Never heard of that
Heard
one.
of it.
Killjoys?
Heard of it.
Lovejoy.
Oh, I love a bit of Lovejoy. Ian McShane. What a rogue.
And
World War
a
VI.
sci-fi show where they well,
Also, Lovejoy was
it's
great.
it's got a good following. And I'll just tell you this one. This is The Expanse.
The Expanse, I think, is there's not that really worthy one that people make you want to watch and then it's crap.
So finally, what numbers did you say Red Dwarf was at?
Did we say 7?
I think I said 10.
Someone said
I
5.
said 19.
5, 10, 19. Second.
Awesome. I'm happy with that.
Doctor Who and Red Dwarf were the top 2.
It's cold outside. There's no kind of atmosphere.
Take that, America, with your Star Treks.
Delia Derbyshire absolutely deserves it. Ron Grainer got all the credit, but Delia Derbyshire was the actual fucking intelligence behind the Doctor Who theme tune.
Go on, Delia.
Yeah.
I like Delia Smith as well.
And that was your Christmas game. Just because I saw it before I came on. I was just like, oh, that's interesting.
See,
Good.
no, yeah. I think Hob would have done a bit better job.
Well, Hobbs not
Hobbs
here,
dead.
Matt. And
The real Hob can't come to the phone right now.
I've got faith of the heart. No one's going to bend or break me.
That is the greatest sci-fi theme tune of all time. It's been a long time
I mean, who'd have thought an opera singer would do pop?
getting from there to
I mean-
here.
Popra.
It's been a long time, but my time is finally here.
I've got no idea what you're on about.
What's great about Star Trek Enterprise and that theme tune is that then ends up being a 2 degrees separation between a Star Trek show and Five from Steps.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure she was dating Russell Watson at the time.
Didn't they release a single together?
I think so, yeah.
They did, I think. It'd be shit, I wouldn't listen to it, but...
Didn't Dane Bowers and Victoria Beckham do a single together?
Yeah.
That was shit as well.
Oh, no, that's great.
Gotta take it really easy because you're wasting my time.
Right, did you know that George Michael did a single with Whitney Houston and it's a fucking banger?
No.
Yeah?
Not if you ever, that's...
If I told you that, it's well good. If I told you that... It's, obviously, I'm not doing it justice because I'm neither Whitney Houston or
George Michael.
I'd have totally had sex with George Michael if he wanted me to.
George Michael is my biggest regret for not going to a gig.
I would like to-
I did wonder where that was going
Never
there.
went.
Just after Mark was saying he'd totally have sex with him, and then you said George Michael was your biggest regret. I was like, you had the
Did you have
chance.
sex with George Michael?
I did, yeah. He was known as my boyfriend for
Were
some
you
time.
that police officer?
There was that. I've had it from both from my other half twice on that my boyfriend was George Michael, and then when he died, it was Will Young. So
I mean, I'd go with Will Young, but I'd be thinking of George Michael.
George Michael.
There we go. That's it. That's the podcast.
Anything is possible.
Merry Christmas, everybody. Right. Festive Kurt, where can everyone find you on the internet?
Linktree, linktr.ee/R-Moldrake. Please come and visit me on my new Lost podcast, because that is the new thing I'm doing this year, 2024. So only a couple of weeks to go until I start my new venture called the Magic Box.
What if they can't find it anywhere?
So
Because it's lost.
it's because it's lost. You can find the Magic Box on all platforms pretty much under the Magic Box
Oh,
pod.
God, can you please hurry up and finish the podcast? Because I cannot take Colin making that joke every single time. Because he's going to be making it all the time.
It's only got 6 seasons and 121 episodes, Matt.
Oh,
so
God.
it's going to take me some time.
Are you going to do an interview with a polar bear?
I could do an interview with the polar bear.
I'd like that. Matt, where can people find you on the internet?
Somewhere.
Colin, where can people find you on the internet?
Weirdic Music Podcast, free with this month's issue podcast. It's Christmas, so we've just put out Christmas specials for both of them, depending on when this episode goes out. So yeah, if you want to find out a load of decent music from 2023, the Weirdic Music Best of 2023 episode is out this month.
Has it got UK sci-fi
It
themes?
doesn't have UK sci-fi themes.
Okay.
No.
If you're looking for me, there is also a Chucky Vision Christmas special. We watched Santa's Got Style because it had Miss Fairchild from Chucky in it, and it was an experience. So if you want another shit Christmas special, check out the Chucky Vision one.
Yeah. Actually, you can also find me on
But don't tell everyone about your OnlyFans, Matt.
Okay, then. Yeah, you can find me on Pick a Disc. If you search for that, you can. That's me, my music podcast. You can also look for Ask Us About Loom, which is the podcast talk about interactive fiction and veggie games and all that kind of stuff. Around Christmas, I am planning on giving myself a logistical headache because I haven't scheduled them yet, but there should be daily releases of little mini interviews that I did in November at the Adventure X convention. Yeah, I think one of the interviews as well, particularly might be interested in people if they've got any good crossover interest in interactive fiction. There was a game called HRO, which was short for Human Resources Officer, where you play the HR person on a Star Trek like starship, and you kind of make decisions that will affect the story about this starship crew, like very Star Trek parody type thing. So you can pretty much have fun being in your own version of a Star Trek episode.
I'm going to sack Spock.
Yeah, you can.
Also, not any of us, although I believe at least 2, possibly 3, maybe even 4 of us have guested on it, or will be guesting on it. There's another We Made This podcast that's just launching in December, which is our mate Jeff is launching 8-Bit Back Issues, which I think there might be a bit of crossover with our listeners. It's a podcast about old computer game magazines I'm on the first episode talking about a Mean Machine Sega from 1993.
I'm on the second one talking about a Your Sinclair from 1980-something.
Awesome.
I'll be on there at some point talking about Commodore Format from 94.
Can we say Merry Christmas to Carl?
Yes, Merry
Yes.
Christmas to Carl.
Love you, mate.
We love you.
Yeah.
He'll be back next year.
He will.
We'll all be back next year. We've got some interesting stuff coming in January, actually. We've got like weird-ass crossovers because it is our podcast network's 5th anniversary. So we're doing crossovers with various podcasts from across the
network.
Yeah, it should be fun.
And we've got Red Dwarf 10 to record because you've now watched it.
Yeah.
We've got Red Dwarf 11 to watch as well.
Yeah.
We've got some specials as well.
I haven't mentioned lemons yet.
Lemons.
No.
We did initially talk about the possibility of doing Secret Santa with each other like we had on a previous year. And I've already decided that I didn't care who I was going to get. I was just going to go lemons.
Fair. We ran out of time. We would have done Secret Santa, but we ran out of time. But we all got lemons.
Lemons.
We can make a battery now.
True. So thank you for joining us for this absolutely batshit fucking Christmas special shite. What the fuck are we going to do next year? Until next year.
He'd start thinking now.
Lemons.
Please call me, Hob. I'm worried. Doctor, nurse, doctor, parent, about to have a child, doctor, nice to meet you, yep, hi, yes. Yes, so, hi, I'm Doctor. Yes, I know what you're thinking. The name wasn't my choice, but I am adopted. Anyway, so let's see how you're going on here. No changes here. Still alive and well. I mean, I can't see anything that's different. Wait a minute. Wait, what? Nurse, get in here, quick. Something's happening. What's going on? I can't figure out what's going on. I can. Oh my God. You're alive. Mr. Boldness. You're still alive.
Shipwrecked and Comatose, a Red Dwarf podcast, was created and produced by Mark Adams and Kurt North. You can find us on Twitter at Red Dwarf Pod, and we are part of the We Made This Podcast network.
Now, in the news this week, the polls continue to slide for Hob, and some people are saying he's dead and buried. But I think the opposite. I say Hobbs is alive!
Hi, I'm Colin.
I'm Ian.
And I'm Tracy.
And we dig music.
Just not always the same music.
Each episode, we pick our 10 favourite songs from a specific year, rate them, and then battle it out over a top 30 countdown.
Colin's pretty enthusiastic about most stuff, Ian less so.
And Tracy definitely owns a thesaurus. And one of us will regularly be told to fuck off.
So join us each month to hear what we dig and what we don't. Listen to We Dig Music wherever you get your podcasts. Find us on wedigpodcast.com, or we're on the We Made This Podcast network, which you can find at wemadethisnetwork.com.